Jam on toast!
Ohio gozaimasu! Welcome to the Jam. Watashi wa Kamen desu, and today the toast is to Samurai Champloo. This is the SourcefedNerd Anime Club review, and thank you for picking one that I hadn't seen that actually looks somewhat interesting. I was not going to watch it, but I ended up stuck at work with lots of boredom time going on, so I watched it in between. Netflix has it subbed, but I much rather would have seen a dubbed version of this, I gotta say. The short sell is that a young lady working at a tea house ends up running into these two swordsmen who she cons into traveling with her to go find a samurai that smells of sunflowers. I gotta say my overall load for this one has gotta be the detail they put into the fight scenes, especially Mugen's. The capoeira style that he mixes in with everything is fantastic. I've never even imagined that when I think feudal Japanese fighting. I especially like how they modified the clogs even to have metal plates to brace swords. Fantastic idea. I hate it for this one's gotta be the damseling. It's so strange because the main character, our central protagonist, is Fua, and she is just the most worthless thing, but she drives the entire plot. Everything that's done is based on her want to go find the samurai that smells of sunflowers, who she has no information about. While all the interesting stuff happens through the swordsman that we encounter, and she keeps getting herself kidnapped, and the formula of the episodic storylines gets kind of old after the first time. With that said, the MVP is definitely Fu. Without her, we have no story, we have no overall plot, and we have nothing manipulating our characters into doing anything than just killing everyone that they come across that seems to be formidable. And on to the categories. Aesthetics. This is a beautiful anime to me. The artwork, the detail. I'm not a huge fan of how different the guys and girls look, but it reminds me a lot of Cowboy Bebop, and sure enough, it's by the same people. They even have that weird thing that reminds me of Trigun, where she eats and then she gets fat. What? But that's pretty funny and enjoyable, and the amount of work they put into the fight scenes alone is enough that I really want to see a cut of just the fight scenes and take out all the storyline. I'd love to see just fight scene to fight scene to fight scene. I really would. Aesthetics gets a 92. Character development. I'm really kind of torn on the character development here. On one hand, like, you walk away from it feeling like you have the same characters you started with, you didn't really get anywhere with anybody, and I don't know, I really don't know how to feel about it there, because we do get backstory, and I had to go back and think about it. We get backstory on everybody, even side characters we meet, but it doesn't seem to change anything, so it's like running on a treadmill. You do the work, you burn some calories, but you didn't really go anywhere. Character development gets a 50. Storyline. Oh, the story in this one. I want more from it, I really do. There's such great characters that I hate that we didn't do more with it. So many things not to spoil. Let's look at this from two different perspectives. There's the overall storyline from the beginning of the season to the end that I really like. I actually like that, hey, there's these people, they're on a journey, they're to find something, things happen along the way, and when they get there, because you're dealing with more than one story, it's really, essentially, you're following three stories that all overlap for a time, and that's what we're concentrating during this anime. The other end of it that you can look at is the episodic storylines, and unless they were doing a larger one that went over more than one episode, I was kind of like, what are we doing? This is pretty much what we did last episode. You're poor, you're hungry, you try to find work, you get some money, you waste it, and you kind of make some progress going towards the goal, which is to find the Sunflower Samurai. I may need to do some more research because this does have some epic stories, but not mostly on the single story episodes. And there's even a couple filler episodes that I don't know why we do that, anime. Come on. I'm just going to have to make a video of anime pet peeves at some point. Storyline gets a 60. Compulsion. This draws you in. The fight scenes are amazing. Usually it's really funny, even on the dumb filler stuff, and I really want more of this. I want to see other stories that branch and meet to this, because the characters are fantastic, the world's pretty interesting, and it's a world where there is very little supernatural stuff. There's some very questionable points where it's like, what happened? But usually it's all completely plausible. Compulsion gets an 85. Now if we total all that together, we get an average of 71.75. For my wrap-up review, I really gotta say that this is like Cowboy Bebop and Trigun had a feudal samurai baby. I really like the correlations between Mugen and Spike, and it has that very go where the wind takes you feel about it. Because that's what they're doing. The wind just happens to be driven by Fu's mission, instead of in Cowboy Bebop where they're just bounty hunters picking whatever job they can find, and in Trigun where they just kind of wander wherever Vash is going, and he wanders wherever he can. But it's got a very Western feel to it, and I dig that, but at the same time, I want something a little extra, and surprisingly enough, even though this doesn't have that, in the traditional sense like Trigun and Cowboy Bebop, it does very well, just with these are badass swordsmen. For all my complaining about the storyline and the character development, I would recommend this to anyone who likes samurai stories. I think you're going to like it. It's going to draw you in one way or the other. And maybe I'm just picky and you will like the stories, and I hope that's how it is. Anyways, I think that's it for me. I'm Samurai. Have a nice day.